This is my world famous collection of acorns. I have a thing for acorns and conkers too, of horse chestnut fame, but I particularly like acorns when they have an occupant, and the occupant in this case is a small ant, not surprisingly known as the acorn ant. Acorn ants are small. They're small red ants that are easily missed, and these I can go days without seeing. They live in small colonies with a single queen, and they take over an acorn which has previously been occupied by a weevil larva. That weevil larva having eaten much of the contents of the acorn before exiting out of the hole, which now becomes the ant's nest entrance. Occasionally they will go out and forage for food before returning back to their favourite acorn. And they're quite fond of a move, of these. This particular colony, housed in an old plastic chocolate box, have moved home at least 4 times that I know to. They initially started off in the acorn to the left of the one they're using now, and then they moved elsewhere, and then they moved again, and then they moved again, and are presently settled in this particular acorn. We see a returning worker bringing food back to the nest, and you can just about make out a guard near the entrance. But they're quite timid ants, and I've noticed that their favourite acorns have one thing in common, and that is that the entrance hole has to be at least on the side of the acorn. If the acorn gets moved and that entrance hole suddenly becomes on top of the acorn, they will leave. Obviously, water can get in that way, and so they are quite particular in their choice of favourite acorn. And here's a worker with a full gaster of food, gaster often being a term used for abdomen. It's looking to find the correct path back to its nest, and eventually it did so. You can see here that the nest entrance here has been blocked off a little bit, made smaller to deter predators, and you can also see other acorn ants milling around, gradually working their way back to the nest or hunting. The scientific name is Temnothorax nylanderi, and this has always been a captive colony. When I bought this colony, it was kept in the typical test tube fashion, and I didn't like that. I thought, we'll create a nesting habitat, and they love it. They don't wander far, and they live a perfectly normal and safe existence. The last time I saw these as a colony, there was probably about 25 workers and a single queen, and I have no reason to believe that the queen isn't deceased. I think she's still active and the colony is still active. But I only ever see occasional workers out and about. But I believe that Temnothorax nylanderi, the acorn ant, is potentially in Nottinghamshire. It's an ant of southern counties of the UK. But who would go looking for this species on the floor of Sherwood Forest amongst millions of acorns? Even I wouldn't do that. But I believe that one day these may well get found in Nottinghamshire, and probably completely by accident.